So if I asked you to imagine the future, say, 10 years from now, what comes to mind?
Well, for most people, it's probably, faster versions of things we already have.
Right. A cleaner environment, maybe some self-driving cars, a phone that can translate languages instantly. It's
Well,
it's the incremental
It's
future.
it's the standard linear projection. We imagine the present's
Mm.
just slightly improved.
Yeah.
But if we actually look at how our most foundational technologies are scaling, I mean, specifically artificial intelligence, we are heading toward a completely new reality, a totally different operating environment for human life.
And that's our deep dive today. This isn't just about getting an upgrade. This shift is so dramatic, so systemic, that it forces us to redesign, well, everything we think about when it comes to work, health, identity, and learning.
Exactly. We're not talking about an update. We're talking about getting the old system and installing a new one. We have to start by confronting this exponential factor because it just completely changes the basic equation of human progress.
Okay, let's unpack that. Today, we mostly treat AI as a really useful tool. It helps a developer write code, helps a designer brainstorm, assists with research. It's an amplifier for skilled labor.
But that tool status is temporary. What we're seeing is this rapid transition to AI becoming an abundant resource.
That distinction, tool versus resource, feels huge.
Well, it's the single most crucial shift in history. Think of intelligence like high-level problem-solving ability.
Yeah, sure.
For basically all of human history, that was the rarest, most valuable asset on the entire planet.
And that scarcity shaped everything. Our education systems were built to find the few people who could solve those hard problems.
Our economic structures, our power structures,
Yeah.
they all revolved around the simple fact that brilliant minds were incredibly rare.
Okay, so now imagine a future where intelligence is no longer scarce, where it's effectively infinite, accessible to everyone.
We're moving toward a state where raw thinking powers like electricity or clean water, it's just available on demand in staggering quantities.
That idea is so hard for our linear brains to really process. I mean, when we talk about machine intelligence exceeding human intelligence, people picture something maybe twice as smart as the smartest person they know.
But the scale we're talking about is completely different. It's a categorical break. People use concepts like an IQ of 10 million, not because an AI is going to take a test, but to illustrate that this isn't just a step up.
That's a whole new category of being.
Exactly. We're moving from the limits of human cognition to computation that's only limited by energy and time.
So if that's where we're headed, where raw thinking power is just outsourced, what becomes the new bottleneck? What takes the place of intelligence scarcity?
When a system can generate unlimited options and solve problems you haven't even finished describing, the constraint shifts entirely.
To what?
The new scarce resources become human alignment and values.
Alignment is a word that gets thrown around a lot right now. What do you mean by alignment in this context? Is it ethical? Is it technical?
It's all of those, but fundamentally it's about purpose. If you can ask a machine to design a city, or cure a disease, or build a company from scratch in just a few minutes, the question isn't, can we do it anymore?
The question is, what city should we build?
Right. And whose values are embedded in that plan? Who gets to decide the purpose of that company?
So the technical difficulty basically vanishes, but the moral and philosophical difficulty just gets amplified because the consequences of a bad decision are also scaled up exponentially.
Precisely. And this is the massive preparation gap we're facing. Our whole lives, we've been told success means being smarter or working harder or having better information.
In a world of abundant intelligence, those things, they stop being the key differentiators.
They do. And I think a lot of people hear this and immediately get caught on the fear of becoming irrelevant.
Right. If I can't compete on brain power, where does my value come from? What about my job?
And the value shifts. It moves away from that raw calculation towards something deeper, something technology can't easily replicate. When intelligence is everywhere, human value moves toward two things: judgment and character.
Judgment. The ability to filter unlimited data and make a wise decision about purpose and direction. Can you give a concrete example of that?
Sure. Think about decision-making today. A huge source of anxiety is just decision fatigue. Too many options.
Oh, yeah. Want to eat healthy? Here are 10,000 diet plans.
Exactly. Want to learn a skill? 1,000,000 online courses. Now, when an AI can analyze your biology, your goals, your schedule, and just hand you the scientifically perfect optimized plan for your day.
The skill isn't finding the information anymore.
No, the core skill is the judgment to decide which path is worthy of your limited time, and then the character to actually execute that plan once it's been designed for you.
That's a profound reorientation. The technology provides the what, but the human has to provide the why and the will.
And that's the dual nature of this future. It's both incredibly hopeful and incredibly dangerous. These tools can eliminate scarcity and disease, but if they're deployed without a strong human framework
If our judgment is weak,
or our character isn't there, they'll just amplify chaos, distraction, and dependency.
let's stay on the upside for a second, because this isn't just theory. We're already seeing this take shape in certain fields.
We are. There are three clear areas. First, health becomes predictive instead of reactive. We start waiting for you to get sick.
We engineer health from the start. A system could flag a potential issue months or years before a symptom ever shows up.
Right. Second, education. For decades, it's been this standardized factory model. Now it becomes intensely personalized. It adapts to you, your brain, your energy levels in real time. Learning becomes dramatically more efficient.
And the third is work itself.
The nature of work fundamentally shifts. If automation handles all the repetitive stuff, human effort moves into areas of true creativity, curiosity, and complex human coordination. Work becomes meaningful, not just compulsory.
But all of these amazing upsides depend on one big thing: our human systems evolving as fast as the tools. And that's a tough ask, isn't it?
That is the core friction point. Technology moves exponentially. Human habits, our institutions, our cultures, they move glacially. If we don't close that gap, we end up with godlike power being run by an outdated human operating system.
Which leads to anxiety, displacement, and just a failure to use the opportunity. So when we look at the environment forming around us now, there are these four huge trends happening all at once, and together they're shattering the old, stable 20th century model of life.
That old contract, get a degree, find a stable job, retire, that was built for a slow, predictable world. These four forces make that model obsolete.
We've already covered the first one. Intelligence is becoming abundant. What are the other three?
The second is the massive scale of automation.
Yeah.
It's systematically removing the need for most predictable, repetitive work. If a computer can learn the rules, that job is probably on the way out.
The third is digital platforms, which are decentralizing everything. A single person or a tiny team can now build and distribute world-changing ideas and products instantly. No more gatekeepers.
And the fourth force is the merging of biology and technology. From advanced bioengineering to hyper-personalized medicine, you put these four together and you get a world where the only constant is change.
So the lesson is that the future belongs to the adaptable, to people who can continuously learn and rebuild themselves as the ground shifts beneath their feet. But what does that actually look like? Advanced tech doesn't automatically create advanced humans.
Absolutely not. In fact, it often enables laziness and distraction. We have to be intentional. Which brings us back to those new currencies of value. The priceless skills are the inverse of what technology provides.
Okay, break that down for us. What are those inverse currencies?
When intelligence becomes cheap, discipline becomes expensive. When automation becomes widespread, initiative becomes rare. And when anything is possible and the options are overwhelming, clarity becomes priceless. These are the assets we have to consciously build in ourselves.
I really like the framework that some people are using to tackle this, the idea of an operating system for humans in a high-change world. It treats human performance not as wishful thinking, but as an engineering problem. This integrated system, this Solterra concept.
The Solterra concept is essentially blueprint. It's a set of 5 interconnected layers designed to support you as the world gets more and more complex. It's about having a systematic approach to living effectively.
Let's walk through those layers, because this feels like the practical takeaway. It starts with the intelligence layer.
Right. This is where you actually use the abundant AI. But not just to write an email, it's to amplify your core thinking. Your system should be stress testing your assumptions, filtering information for you, running long-term strategic simulations for your life.
It turns you from a processor of information into a director of strategy.
Exactly. But that external tool needs strong internal machinery to run it. And that brings us to the training layer.
This is about closing the execution gap.
This layer is all about building your internal capacity. It's about discipline, identity, and the ability to execute against the constant pull of distraction. The world is engineered to consume your attention. The training layer is how you build your resistance. If you can't act on a plan designed by an IQ of 10 million, the knowledge is useless.
And supporting all of that is the foundation, the health layer.
Look, in a high-speed future, your physical and mental energy is one of your most valuable assets. The health layer treats performance, recovery, and resilience as serious engineering problems. It's about optimizing energy, not just going to the gym. Your body and mind are a high-performance machine.
So those first three layers are about the individual. The next two are about your environment. The fourth is the culture layer.
This is about choosing standards over trends. In a world of fleeting viral ideas, this layer is about consciously creating or joining a community that focuses on building over consuming. It's about surrounding yourself with people who uphold high standards of integrity and purpose.
So creating an intentional bubble to protect you from the noise.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And finally, the fifth layer is the physical layer. This is about designing your actual real-world environment, your home, your workspace, to support deep work and focus. We have to actively counter the fragmentation that digital life encourages.
The power of this whole concept, as you've laid it out, is that it's integrated. You can't have that high-powered intelligence layer if you haven't built the discipline in the training layer or the energy in the health layer.
That's the key. The future won't be shaped by people who just have access to the tools. The tools are becoming universal. It'll be shaped by people who use those tools wisely and consistently. And that requires a robust, disciplined internal operating system.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for the person listening right now? The real danger isn't a lack of opportunities. There will be endless new ways to work and create.
The true danger is that most of us will be emotionally, structurally, and psychologically unprepared to even recognize them, let alone act on them.
So preparation in this new world isn't about memorizing facts. It's not about learning one specific coding language.
No, it's about building that internal capacity, learning how to think clearly, how to decide effectively, and how to build your life like a system instead of just drifting through chaos.
And if we accept that premise, that technology can design your perfect career, your perfect health plan, then the real test is the gap between that perfect advice and your ability to actually act on it.
That gap is measured in discipline, in clarity, and in responsibility. Technology cannot give you those things. You have to build them yourself.
Which leaves us with a final thought. The coming decades will feel chaotic and overwhelming to those who only watch the technology, but they will feel natural, abundant, and full of possibility to those who took the time to prepare their internal operating system for this new reality. The only real choice you have is whether you meet this powerful future as an overwhelmed spectator or as a capable participant. So what step are you taking today to start building your internal system?